Welcome back to the NALCS. We are joined by the victorious Link and Afremu from CLG. Gentlemen, congratulations on the win, shutting down Coast win streak there. A lot of streaks are being started today. Link, let's start with you. The transition back to the mid lane. How's it been? Things have been seeming to go well.
The transition back to mid lane, there really wasn't a transition because all the while I was playing jungle, I was playing mid and solo queue. We actually played mid in a couple of scrims, and while Hotshot was playing jungle, so I'm pretty comfortable in the mid lane, and there really hasn't been like a difference. And well, I guess you can say it feels good to be back home.
Yeah, you guys have definitely had immediate success since you got back there. You actually had some nice synergy there between the Orianna and the Alistar. Normally it's the Afremu double of synergy, but this is the Link Afro. Talk about the Alistar pick.
The Alistar pick, they banned out Thresh, which was unexpected. That was one of our bans for Thresh.
Yeah.
And then so we countered it with Annie because they played Leona yesterday versus TSM, and they valued that over Annie. So we were like, okay, we want them to pick Leona, and we've been practicing Alistar Vayne lane a while since the start of LCS, and we've always wanted to play it, and we finally got to play it, and I was so excited to play Alistar, and we got to pick it into a Leona lane. And in the lane, you can throw Leona into the tower every single time, which is we did that 2 times, but unfortunately she didn't die. Well, that's what we were going for.
And Link, your pick of Orianna to LeBlanc, that seems like a hard matchup for Orianna. What do you consider when you go into that matchup? And is it even a hard matchup for Ori?
It is a hard matchup because you really can't walk up because you might just die randomly to like a gank. So that whole time they had complete control over mid, which is kind of my fault because I needed to use Dexter a little bit better. But Dexter was preoccupied top lane, obviously, and you know they got a lot out of it at top, but they could have gotten more out of it. But that's what we're working on right now. Is me and Dexter synergy and Dexter and Nian synergy. And right now, primarily in the last week, they've been focused on the Dexter Nian synergy. So you can kind of see like they've been doing pretty well in terms of ganking top. And in mid lane right there, I was pretty much just a placeholder while my team would just carry me. And you know I don't really like that role, and I'm trying to get out of it. But hey, if I had to do that game, it works for me.
Place held well.
This last game seemed like it was going to be a bit of a throwback with the Orianna and the Vayne from CLG. Oh, they're just protect double lift. But that wasn't necessarily the case. Do you want to maybe talk about how your team has transitioned or grown since last summer split to now?
It's kind of funny because everybody always wants to like kill double lift because they see him as like the only threat. But then if you really think about it, there's like a really farmed Renekton, there's a farmed Orianna, and you know Elise as her own can pretty much insta-give any of the squishies. So when they initiated on double in the last team fight, you know, I just threw a shield on her and then double lived, and then afterwards we just wreaked havoc because they just used all their cooldowns.
Yeah, and we actually have a clip of one of the Baron fights where you guys picked up a clean double kill. And Afremu, I want you to kind of talk me through this. As the Alistar, you're looking for a lot of initiations. So let's get that clip up on the screen, and we can see how, you know, talk me through what happened.
So we're going to do Baron here, and I said we should do Baron and then turn when they come in. So my job is to stop the carries from coming in, which is LeBlanc and Caitlyn, and I got a pull on both of them and exhausted LeBlanc while my team killed the front line right there. And we just cleaned up pretty easy.
Yeah, just a really crisp, clean fight. Alistar with his incredible zoning potential. Talk to me a bit more about Alistar. You've been waiting for it the entire split.
Alistar is really fun in lane, but not fun when you play against everybody else except Leona, because everyone can poke you in your melee, and Alistar's early game is probably one of the worst supports early game to play. So having Alistar in Leona lane, you can get past the early game because you pull for Zenith Blade and she can't do anything. And then you transition into mid game where you just stop carries and you have your ultimate to protect you against their damage.
Awesome.
A lot of the early game comes from the jungler, and Dexter has been a huge point of impact for you guys coming since he's been here. You guys have just been winning. Were you guys able to scrim with him when he wasn't on the team and he was still in Europe? Because it seems like you guys have just always been together.
No, we've had 0 practice with him until he recently came over. So we're pretty much like we're like 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old, pretty much. Ever since Battle of Atlantic. So we're just getting back in the groove, and it's working out pretty well.
Yeah, now that you're kind of back in the groove, this is kind of the halfway point of the split. 14 games in, you guys are 8-6. What's the next half going to be like? Because the first half was filled with difficulties.
I expect the next half to be a lot better for CLG in general, just because we have a stable roster, thankfully. And I look forward to being top 2 this split, since everyone on the team has definitely shown that they're dedicated and they put in all the time needed to work. You see people up at 2 a.m. playing solo queue, etc. So it's really good.
All right, guys, you have Curse and XDG this next week. Either of you want to take it. What's the preparation going to be like for these teams?
We're going to prepare like we usually do, like we did this week and last week, and we're going to take them on and go 2-0.
All right.
Right on. Well, congratulations on the win. Best of luck on the 2-0 coming up on next week.
Thanks.
All right, everyone, we're going to toss it back to Freak and Kobe. We got more games.
Thank you very much, Riv. It is our final LCS game of the day, Team Dignitas versus XDG Gaming. These are two teams that are coming off tough losses so far this week. They're going to be looking to turn their season around right now.
Yeah, Dignitas especially. They're coming off a 5-game slump after winning 6 in a row. And they've shown that they can play competitively against the best teams in the league. But in other matches, they also show that some simple mistakes can easily cost them the game. You can look to the top lane, definitely, against Evil Geniuses to see this. Cruiser got bullied out of his lane by coordinated ganks from Snoopé and Inox, so he's going to have to coordinate better with Crumbs to stop other teams from repeating that tactic.
0-4-1, not the score you want for that game. And with XDG, they're hoping that moving Zuna to support and adding Nick Wu might fix their problems. Nick Wu's been playing okay so far.
It does remain to be seen if the roster change will be the cure. Their new lineup had a rocky debut. Zuna started off the game landing a hook and getting an assist on an early kill, but as the game went on, he was repeatedly caught out and cut down.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can turn it around. Now, of course, both these teams admit they haven't been playing consistently, and XDG's Smithy thinks he sees a pattern with Dignitas repeating history.
XDG, they look really shaky, but so do we.
I think it's like a recap of the last year of Spring Split. Like, they did pretty good early months of Spring, and they kept just going down and down and down.
Take down XDG, we just have to keep ManCloud down.
What seemed to work for us last time against Dig was banning out Jinx from Cutie Pie, since he has like a 100% win rate with that champion. When he plays Lucian or Sivir, he doesn't have that late game hyper carry damage that they need to carry him.
XDG, they usually fall behind early. Sometimes they can bring it back and sometimes they can't. So hopefully we can capitalize on the early game.
Well, let's see what happens with this one. Of course, both these teams looking for their first win of the week. Let's check out the starting lineups. And on the blue side, it's going to be Dignitas, Cruiser in the top lane, Crumbs in the jungle, Skara in mid. I'm a Cutie Pie as AD carry, and Kiwi Kid completing the Kiwi Pie lane as support.
And on the red side, Mentor Cloud taking a drink of something there, getting ready for the game. Up top, it will be Benny, though. In the jungle, Nick Wu, mid ManCloud. AD carry Smithy, and supporting Zuna.
So it's going to be a fun one there. And I want to personally watch the Nick Wu versus Crumbs matchup because Nick Wu seemed to be very aggressive in their game yesterday. He had kind of a whole bunch of kills and assists under his belt. He was making a lot of things happen. Crumbs as well is known to force a lot of things and is the shot caller for his team right here. And so I feel like these two are going to be like aggressively butting heads, trying to make things happen. You start losing your you want more and more to actually just force battles, make things happen, try to get the lead, and I feel like they're going to fight a lot.
Yeah, Nick just seems like an all-around aggressive guy, so yeah. I think he's definitely going to be fighting early. And I'll have to see the top lane, as we said before, those two usually, that's kind of the default pairing that we see a lot between junglers and solo laners, and I don't know, we'll have to see if they can make something better happen this time on the side of Dignitas, because as we said before, EG really was able to get a big lead up there.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can keep the lanes going in good shape. And the other thing to watch for as well is the bottom lane synergies. Because we've seen a couple of newly formed bottom lanes. So CLG went back to Rush Hour there. They'd played before, but this time W6D2 Aftermoon doing a whole lot better. You see the Kiwi Pie lane here for Dignitas actually come off incredibly well, especially when Kiwi Kid gets Annie. They play so well together, and it just seems like they make so many good plays, especially when he gets that champion. But now we've got another new dual lane coming in. You've got Zuna Smithy, which I haven't thought of a good name for them to come together. You guys got to help us out there on social media. Let us know what that dual lane is called. But I've yet to see anything great from them so far, one game in.
Yeah, I guess the only true man at his position right now is Cutie Pie as the AD carry, because Kiwi Kid moving down from top lane, and then Zuna was the AD carry and moving over where Smithy came from the jungle. I guess the whole bottom lane from XTG right now is junglers.
Yeah.
Because Zuna was technically a jungler too.
Yep.
And Smithy is also a jungler.
There you go.
And St. Vicious was a jungler. A lot of junglers now
playing.
Moving to the bottom lane.
It's weird. They did the inverse CLG. CLG kept turning people into junglers, and now the junglers coming out of the jungle, showing up in lanes, said, killing minions ain't hard. I can do this myself.
Always trying to mix and match, find the right spots for your team.
CLG had run with 4 AD carries at one point. That was a good comp. So we're going to get ourselves into the game very soon, and that is those are the two lanes I want to see the most, what the junglers end up doing and what the duo lanes end up doing there. Of course, one other interesting thing to note is that Zuna is kind of the shot caller here for XDG. He is, I guess, a traditional sort of situation where the support is the shot caller. That's part of the reason they're keeping him on the roster is he's so knowledgeable by his own team's admission that Zuna kind of knows the game very well, and they need him on the roster to make the calls for the roster.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of what went into that decision. I have to see if it pays off here. You know, he definitely did have some good laning phase hooks that he was able to land, but it's the overall game that we're going to have to work on there.
See if they can do it. LeBlanc, Pantheon, Lee Sin already dropped away. Kassadin and Elise. And one more ban from XDG to drop down Dig. And right now I just see that Gragas is still open. That's the one I always look to when I see a Dignitas.
Yeah, Gragas, definitely one of Scar's favorite champions.
Yep.
And you can see they do not want to let that one through again. Immediately grabbing it for him. He's so comfortable on that champion. He's been playing it for years. It's been his main for years and years. And definitely a big force on that champion still.
Yeah, well, XDG gets a chance to counterpick. And I got to say, with Yasuo still up, I've seen Yasuo work incredibly well against Gragas before. You can block almost every spell he has.
Now, I like the idea behind that, but last time we saw ManCloud play Yasuo, he was having wind walls. He was casting behind him. He didn't seem like he was that comfortable on the champion. And you have to be very on point with your wind walls. If you think that you're blocking one of the Gragas ultimates and you mess it up a little bit, your team will get destroyed because they'll be caught off guard. They think that you're going to be blocking on it, and they rely on you blocking it. If you don't, then the entire team fight will fall apart.
It'll be sad pants for you guys. So it's going to be the pickup of Sivir and Thresh here for XDG's bottom lane there. Only Annie really dropped away from that lineup, and they say this is what's important to us here. Sivir is a little bit unsafe, but Thresh can make her a bunch safer, and this team has some great engage potential now.
Yeah. Sivir does have a couple bad lane matchups, though, and those are all available to Dignitas. So XDG are kind of daring QtPie to, again, venture away from Jinx, pick up a Caitlyn or something like that, pick up a Draven. He actually won his game that he played on Draven, and I would love to see QtPie back on Draven. It's a great champion for him.
I remember when Cloud9 played Draven into Sivir, they said, well, we couldn't actually play as aggressively as we wanted because we never got eyes on the enemy jungler, and because of that, they couldn't actually bully the Sivir out of lane, and Doublelift got a free Sivir lane there. And I'm wondering how well Crumbs can stay in the fog of war and say, well, if you aggress, I'll find you.
So that you have to kind of add up all the lane matchups in the game and then factor in what type of jungle your enemy has. If all of your lanes are going to be lanes that are technically supposed to win and supposed to be pushing, then I like going for that strategy no matter what the enemy jungler is. Because you can have your jungler counter gank, and in any of those situations, you'll come out ahead because your lane should be the longer, stronger lane early. So it really depends how many winning lanes they choose if they decide to go with that strategy of bully lanes in the early phase.
And we'll see what gets grabbed. Kiwi Kid locks in Leona for himself with Thresh and Annie off the table. Goes for the Solar Knight. That's going to be fine. Jungle Wukong coming in here for Nick Wu. Mid Lulu going to make her entrance back into the stage as well. Scar wanted Gragas, but that's fine. QtPie going to go for Lucian again. I still don't think he's winning the games in Lucian, but apparently week 6 they're going to try to break that streak.
Yeah, he's pretty much saying that he does not care about the statistics. Everybody who's given him flack for going back to that champion doesn't know what they're talking about.
Nope.
It's a great kill potential with Leona, so they do have a lot of offensive capabilities in that bottom lane. The only thing is, I'm not quite sure what top lane will be for XDG with this matchup because they've already got 2 knockups with Wukong and Lulu. Well, they're just immediately rocking Renekton.
Okay.
Versus the Trundle. I mean, that's why I was saying I didn't know what was going to be played top because Benny traditionally he's been playing so many tanks and he's always loved these tanks. But going against Trundle, we've seen so many people opt with other options because they don't want to play into that late game ultimate. Renekton, though, he has to make something happen early against Trundle because in the late game, he'll just get shredded by that ult.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking at the lineup as well, and it feels like XDG's late game damage is not exceptionally high. Renekton's a champion that tends to fall off. Wukong only builds so much damage. Then you're kind of relying on just Sivir to kind of carry the game through, whereas you've got Renekton getting tankier, or not, sorry, not Renekton, but Trundle getting tankier and tankier, siphoning off stats and everything.
They have ridiculous speed, so that's for sure. They can make very quick map movements if they don't even actually have to take the fights. If they move around and collect a huge gold lead from a lot of turrets, from just positioning values there from XDG, you know, with Lulu and Sivir, that's pretty much the biggest speed boost in the game right now, and they might be able to outplay them just purely objective-wise.
That'll be fun to watch. We'll see if XG can make that one happen. The game's about to get underway, so let's see who you guys think is going to end the week with a victory. According to LOLesports.com, 88% of you think that Dignitas are going to snap that losing streak and end this week with a win.
I think definitely at least one of those voters already tweeted in. Odie definitely looking for a win for his team to get back on track. But the same thing is absolutely true for XDG management. They want something to back up all the changes that they've made.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can do it, of course. It's going to be, right, it's a jungle Nick Wukong, which I just realized is great because it's Nick Wukong. So that's in there. I'm going to say that probably 5 more times during the game. But less of a strong early game jungler. I feel like his pre-6 ganks, not the scariest, and that gives options for Dignitas to push in a lot of their lanes.
Yeah, he's one of those junglers that just brings damage to his early ganks. Before hitting 6, he does not have any CC, but he brings a lot of damage. It's a substantial amount of damage coming from an early Wukong gank. He definitely needs his lane that he's ganking, though, to set it up for him, because he won't have any CC of his own, just the red buff slow.
Let's see what he brings. Doran's rings for the mid lanes. Actually, every single lane. Mirrored builds every single lane, so that'll be fun to watch. We'll see who diverges from that first. I've seen Tiamat on Toronto before. Seen it on Renekton. Maybe we'll see that one go through. Older Lizard maybe for both junglers. Athene's first for both mids. We can see them continue to go down the same lines.
Yeah. ManCloud's cracking himself up over there.
Well, I mean, Lulu's just so jovial.
Thinks it's hilarious.
It is.
This is the first time we haven't seen top laners exchanging blows up there.
No cleavers.
And they have to get really, really close and personal.
Yeah, they all have to be in, well, I guess aside from Trundle ulti, they have to be in melee range to deal any damage. They're like, you know what? You smell too bad. I'm going to stay in this brush over here. Just be safe.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Junglers close. Ooh. Nothing's going to happen.
Ooh, doesn't get it.
Wasted cooldown. Dun,
Kind
dun,
of.
dun. Now, that's interesting, starting off with that E. A lot of junglers like to start with the W for the extra percentage damage and attack speed, but you do get a shield with any ability for Vi, so starting with that E, take a little bit less damage.
Here we go. Auto attack E. The damage coming through pretty securely for Crumbs. He's going to get his blue buff before too much trouble comes through. Nuku starting out as red with a very, very small gank from Benny. So a bit of damage onto the Wukong, but I think these guys are going to clear their own jungles fairly safely without much invasion early on.
I want to point out also the early trinket ward down at the red buff on Dignitas. XDG snuck in there and got some vision down that we don't see a lot now that everyone's relying on trinket wards. They will know if Nick Wu is, or if Crumbs is deciding to go with the regular route of getting a small camp before getting your double buff, or if he rushes to get both buffs as quickly as possible. Now that they've seen him be delayed to that camp, they know he's going for that level 3 on double buff.
Well, Zuna still level 1, harassing around in the duo lane for now. We'll see how the junglers... Okay, good dodge. We'll see where the junglers go pretty soon. More skill shot getting dodged. Nick Wu going to hit level 3 out of mana, but he'll be all right. Crum's actually being a little bit slower on the jungle path, but we'll see the Vi roaming around the halls before too long. Smites it away. And Wukong, nope, still just going to farm the jungle for now. He's going for this white. All right, these guys are pretty safe in this one. The mid lane also holding an advantage for ManCloud, actually. Skara not getting many of these minions early on, getting pushed around. 8 minion leads so far with 4 minions in the map in that lane.
Yeah, Lulu definitely doing a good job pushing him around. ManCloud was able to get the second pick there. And as we said, this is pretty much one of the main reasons why Lulu is so popular right now. We'll have to see what ManCloud can actually do with this lead, though, because he hasn't been able to transition very well in many of the games into the mid game.
In a random interaction that I like with the mid lane matchup, if Skara went 9 points defense, the master that reduces damage from champions works exceptionally well against picks, because it'll work for the auto attack and all 3 picks hits. You'll basically take 0 damage from her passive at level 1.
Yeah, it's a great mastery to pick up versus Lulu. I like how the Miss Zenith Blade from Kiwi Kid, he was not punished for that at all because Zuna was already expecting to counter it with the play.
Ooh, good play,
like
not
that.
in range for the stun. He got it early enough that Kiwi Kid did not land Shield of Daybreak there. That was awesome.
So Zuna's showing early that he does have the mechanics, but Benny definitely in a tough spot.
All right, Ballbreaker lands Benny, 2 dashes. Flash in from Cruiser.
Oh, he's already burning though.
First blood picked up there. Nicely done. Dignitas 1-0 early on.
Great gank there from Crumbs. I mean, we talked about, is he going to turn around that top lane and have the opposite happen this game. Yes, he is. No ward there, and he was able to make it happen.
Goes for the stun on Azuna. Not too much follow-up, though, Cutie Pie. Leaving Kiwi Kid alone. It's unfortunate, but all right. Bottom lane going pretty equally. 28 minions on each, so yes, pretty equally. Guys trading none of their health potions either. Skara going in on the Man Cloud, but they're just trading blows.
I mean, Lulu just has so much range on Gragas. It's very, very hard early for Skara to capitalize on that CS. But Crumbs comes in to even up the match.
And it's going to be the flash from Mandatory Cloud to get himself out of that one. Did not want to get comboed out, but you're seeing Crumbs have way more impact so far than Nick Wu.
Yeah, great job by him. Able to land the first couple Vault Breakers. Getting his solo lanes the early lead and letting the bottom lane do work for itself, because we talked about how much threat that Leona Lucian has. They don't really need help to go for those aggressive moves, as we've seen repeatedly started off by Kiwi Kid.
So we look now towards his top lane. Benny only got a Doran's Blade and a Doran's Shield off of the recall. A full Giant's Belt, though, for Cruiser. So a bit of a stat disadvantage here, but Benny's still trying to fight anyway. Happy to try to sustain up in this lane, but I feel like if we see him come in again, there's no flash for Benny. It's going to be a rough top for him.
Yeah, already, you know, since the kill credit did go to Cruiser, it's going to really turn around that lane matchup that usually goes a bit in favor of Renekton early and give him a great leg up on this. So I want to see where Nick Wu actually decides to go, because he's nearing level 6, and all of his lanes really do need some help. Even though ManCloud was doing great early, he had to blow his flash from that gank. So he is down the summoner spell, and Gragas as well was able to use that time to catch right back up in CS. So Skara's feeling fine, and he has the flash advantage on ManCloud now.
So equal items in the mid lane so far. Junglers as well, just boots different. Crumb's getting the assist, helping him get that one here. So far, so good for everybody. Dual lane holding standard. The gold lead's still exactly 600, which is what you get for a
level
first blood.
6 here, hit by Crumbs, and they're already pinging out the flashless ManCloud. It's dangerous, though, because Lulu does have an ult up for herself. You know, you have to factor that into the amount of damage that you think is going to come through.
All right, Crumbs flashes, lands the ulti. ManCloud ults himself, doesn't get much for it. Knocked way back in by Skara. Do they have enough, though? 500 health left on ManCloud. He gets out, getting Crumbs low. Skara goes back in 200 HP.
Yeah, you use everything to close that distance from Crumbs, and you don't have much damage left when you get there. Vi relies so much on her Vault Breaker for the damage to actually hit. If he just goes in with the ultimate, it doesn't have too much to follow up. But it was a great ulti there from Skara, knocking him back when they had the positioning.
Fighting the bottom lane. They're going to be okay with this one. I just want to kind of note 416 health is what ManCloud got from the E and the R there, and he ended with about 200. So you can see just how much durability can matter sometimes in those gank situations. Unable to dodge the Q there.
He did get harassed but down really low, though, so forcing him back at least with all of those resources that were spent in the mid lane.
Yep. We'll see if Crumbs can do anything with ulti number 2. Halfway until the next cooldown. Nick Wu now, the only jungler with an ultimate. Level 6 on Wukong, holding the mid lane for now, though, as he waits for ManCloud to get back into his own lane. But now I want to see what this guy can do. He was the best performing member of XDG in their prior game. The new addition to the roster as well, replacing Zuna, who replacing Smithy in the jungle.
I think that he should try and take advantage of the aggro bottom lane from Dignitas. Wukong doesn't even have to go for a gank around the river or anything. He can just come in for a lane gank. Take a lantern from Zuna, come right in. As long as he can get at least one person knocked up there with his ulti, then it should be pretty easy to capitalize. Zuna right there was hooking a minion, but if he's able to land one onto either champion, then it should be a pretty easy combo.
It's okay, you hit a minion, you still get the 3 seconds off the cooldown, so just try again later. It's better to hit a minion than to miss entirely. So, he's just still up his hit percentage. Do minions count hit percentage for skill shots?
No.
Okay. That's unfortunate. So Zuna lower hit percentage than he would like. ManCloud, though, hits the minions with the Glitter Lance. I count that one.
Yeah,
you're hitting minions anyway.
That's getting CS. As long as you get the kill, then it's fine. Whatever you hook, as long as you get the kill, it'll up your percentage.
So you last hit with the Thresh hook. Well, Zuna, you were an 80 carry. You should know how to last hit these ones. Also, deep utility for the Thresh, getting the 1 gold per minion around. I just like kind of tracking that, because I'm curious to know like what kind of builds the pros use. so I can steal them.
Here comes Crumbs. He's ganking bottom.
Stun lands onto Zuna. Ulti comes by as well, and that's going to be a kill. Bach comes out and just doesn't even matter. Style points, kills off the minion waves, and Cutie Pie not going to taste much else, but Nikwu looks for the mid lane. No slow on Scar.
But he's already too late here. Crumb's always making the first move in this matchup between junglers, and Nikwu's kind of left just holding lanes that have already been ganked or looking to try and pick something up. Smithy!
And he's flashing. He's running. He's stunned. Cutie Pie.
Nikwu's coming in from the back, though. Can he answer? He finally needs to get something going here. Cutie Pie does have his flash and his barrier.
That's a Crumbs.
Oh, no.
Oh, the E still hit. Forces the flash. Vault Breaker hits. Shield blocks the turret shot. You know, I got to say, Crumbs has 100% hit rate on his ultimates.
Yeah, Crumbs is doing a really good job with that Vi. Pretty much every single Vi guaranteed to have 100% hit rate on their ulti unless they're killed in the act.
You go for like a Fizz.
That's true.
Zonias, things like that. But so far, he's hit 3 ultis. Two of his 3 ganks have really resulted in kills, so I gotta say,
again,
that's
though,
a pretty good record.
Look at this, XDG, they are not giving up on this objective. They want to make something happen out of all that disaster that happened down bottom, all the carnage. They want to salvage something. It's gonna be the dragon for them. 2 pink wards spent for this one, but they will secure it.
Well, the one that's in the river is held up for a while. They got that one a few minutes ago. It's going to be the dragon going. So XDG within 1,000 gold now. That's a well-played engagement there. But Skara roams to the top lane.
Benny senses something, though, because the early ult, and he flashes. Very good flash from Benny.
Flash keeps him safe. Barrel still lands from Skara.
He's not out of the woods yet, though.
Crumbs is here. Uh-oh, no ulti just yet, but has a red buff. There's a slow. There's the Vault Breaker. Breaks the armor. Skara nearby. Barrel lands. That's a kill picked up. 4-0 Dignitas.
Not out of the woods yet. I always thought that it should be called a forest instead of a jungle, just because look at the trees. They don't look very tropical.
Do jungles have to be tropical?
No, but you always kind of get that sense, don't you?
Yeah, there's like vines and monkeys and stuff.
Look at this roam from ManCloud, though. He wants to answer Skara's roam up top, and the pings from both sides. Dignitas are very much aware of this, and they're using the calling just to clear that wave out quickly, stop that roam from ManCloud in its tracks.
And you're seeing a bit of an item lead here for Dignitas' duo lane. Because of that kill credits, 2 kills, by the way, going towards Cutie Pie. So he got the best deal in those ganks at all. Or completely.
Kiwi Kid walks through the ward and Zuna lands the hook.
Hook rate goes up. Doesn't turn into a kill, but that's okay.
Kiwi Kid immediately puts the shield up. Okay, here's the gank bottom for Nikwu. This time around, he does have his ulti up, and he's the first one into position, but Crumbs is already bottom side as well. If Crumbs counter ganks this, they will decimate XDG.
That's going to be unhappy. And there's a ward in the brush anyway, and I'm not sure if XDG knows about it. I think they do because of how far back Nikwu is playing. I just don't see him getting into this lane successfully. We have not seen a single Cyclone come out in 12.5 minutes so far. We just haven't seen anything work for these guys. They've been getting picked on, and they were going to try again. Smithy pops the ulti. They just trade.
All right, so he gets at least the reaction ulti out of there from Smithy. Having his
playing the long con.
I think, yeah, Kiwi Kid, though, learned something right there with the spell shield. Smithy's got pretty quick reactions.
And they put him in AD carry because of his mechanics. Certainly worked there, but just gets the recall. The cooldown actually is shorter for Solar Flare than for On the Hunt. So it's a small window of like one-sided ultis there in the lane. Top lane going to be the red buff started up Benny and Nikwu going for this one. I can see it going to Benny.
I like how they're bringing in Crumbs anyway. Even though they know they force back Sivir, they're just going for tower damage, trying to take advantage of the missed man here. So objective focus for Dignitas, even after so many kills from Crumbs. Another great call from him, grabbing the early turret.
Nicely done. They're going to get that one. Crumbs happy to get the kill credit on that one. Putting himself in the limelight there. 0-0 and 3. 3 of his team's 4 kills. Nikwu starting up on the blue buff for his teammates. But he's unfortunately doing nothing but clearing the jungle. And even at that, you're seeing 69 to 47. Honestly getting well outplayed by Crumbs so far.
Yeah, Crumbs doing a pretty good job, as we've been over so many times. But the rest of Dig doing pretty well in their lanes too. I mean, Cruiser has worked well with the early gank, and he's right up there with Renekton. So it's done wonders for him. He got some nice roam from Skara as well to add another kill onto Benny. And pretty much all of XDG have been having to react to Dignitas' plays. They haven't been able to start off any plays of their own. They never have the initiative. It's always Dig making the first move.
Yeah, they're not rolling high in that D20. Initiative score is low for these guys. Smithy just going to sit here and freeze a lane. and get himself some gold back in this one. Only a Bloodthirster done. PewDiePie picked up a Brutalizer of all things. So, Caster Illusion coming through a little bit. Want to see if that pans out well, if we just bought it because he's like, I'm ahead. Whatever, I'll just spend 1,300 gold. It's interesting, though.
It is a very interesting build from an interesting guy. I like
Yes.
the pick. We'll see how it works out here. It's great against people who aren't building armor because it's flat penetration, but Renekton's already built some armor, and Wukong gets armor from his passive.
Yeah.
Have to see how that one plays out in the end game here. PewDiePie's burst, though, does get a small burst, small increase right now. At this point in the game, it's a great buy because a lot of power for his combo.
See if it pans out. Zuna taking some more barrels. These guys from Dignitas happy to poke around to the mid lane. Benny sitting on top of a friendly ward. Waits around for the dive. Doesn't find it. Has to go back to the top lane now. Dignitas have already killed 2 outer turrets. That's top and bottom lane. The mid lane siege we saw before.
All right, so the Dragon's not up, so probably won't actually be a fight. But I've got now a theory on this Brutalizer build.
Okay.
Because he's working with Vi and Trundle, who both shred armor, percentage shreds, flat penetration, even more effective.
True.
Because it applies after percentage shreds.
Yeah.
So he's getting an extra bonus out of this Brutalizer.
Sure. Even
Just
Vi's getting a
this
Brutalizer.
game, so
Dignitas is brutalizing this game in general. I want to see it on Cruiser now. Maybe Kiwi Kid will buy one.
Cruiser the Brutalizer.
Yeah.
Look at all the focus mid lane, though. They want to chain the last outer turret. Dignitas doing a good job of rotating over, taking advantage of ManCloud not being in lane, while Nick Wu spends his time bottom. Again, he's really trying to force something happening down here, and it's going to have to be a dive if they want to answer at all.
Well, minions dropping more and more. 2 versus 3 in the lane, and XDG just not even going for this one.
He chunked
Lot
out
of
so
health
early.
drop down. Realize we're making it happen. There's the ulti, lands on a Nick Wu, ignite as well. That's going to be a kill pick. Oh, the shield still goes down. Kiwi Kid with the kill credit, and ManCloud in a bad spot, trying to run away. Skara picking that one up. 2 more kills on the map for Dignitas. They are crushing this game.
Nick Wu having a really hard time this game. I still have not seen a Cyclone.
Nope.
He died too quickly, and you know that's just pretty much all Dignitas this entire game here. 6-0 tells the story. Massive gold lead, massive control over the map.
Zuna trying to hold off Skara. Does keep the turret alive. So that was a good matchup. That one worked. Top lane, though, getting worse and worse, though. Benny picked the Renekton into Trundle, not having a good time, and ManCloud gets jumped on. This is the replay.
All right, so Crumb's able to get him into position. They got a good amount of damage down, and then he goes back in for another Vault Breaker. ManCloud a little bit too close there.
Yeah, not the best idea. So Benny, again, he knew he was going to be fighting Cruiser's Trundle. Said, yep, I'll play Renekton. It'll be fine. I'll win the lane. But the ganks from Crumbs seem to make that not the case here.
Yeah, Crumbs and Scar both lended a helping hand up top.
True.
You know, the whole team, as we said before, seems to be, they've worked on their communication, definitely, and they're all working in unison here. Pretty much have a stranglehold on this game right now. They can easily shore up this entire jungle with wards and just strangle XDG right now, starve them out of the game.
Yeah, so let's see where they go with for the next little bit here. Dignitas are poised for a perfect game. 0 kills, 0 turrets. I don't believe I've seen one this split so far, where the other team doesn't get any objectives.
A perfect game? You already calling for a perfect game here?
Hey, man.
No deaths.
The
and
earlier
no
you
turrets.
call it, the more credit you get for it.
Well, it's already 6-0, 18 minutes in with a massive gold lead.
Yeah. Someone on Twitter's going to be like, well, I called that yesterday. And I'll be like, all right, well, I guess you win then. I'll give you a high 5 if I ever see you. Because that's how we bet things in League of Legends. By the way, you owe me a high 10 from the last one. But ManCloud gets a big high 5 from Crumbs, trying to run away. Good glitter lens does not land on the jungler, though. But here comes Nick Wu. Cyclone! Yay! He gets one! And Crumbs forced away. And it's going to be actually the survival from ManCloud. Now, Nick Wu, though, not the happiest monkey. Flash is good. Flash actually gets him away. Oh, that was a sick glitter lens, too. He nearly got them both. Like, that ManCloud glitter lens to get one to shoot 2 directions is freaking hard. And they both aimed at enemy champions.
Sick story, bro.
If that was on purpose, that was really, really good.
All right, well, now they're pushing back up the mid lane here. XDG, they have to make a stand somewhere. It needs to be at a turret, though, because they need every helping hand that they can get to win any sort of team fight. They don't have a lot of pick potential. As we said, they have a massive amount of speed, but they don't really have anyone to hold you in place once they catch you. Nick Wu is so squishy that if he goes in for the Cyclone, as we saw there, they could just turn on him and take him down very quickly. He's building all offense in a game that they're super far behind in.
Well, he was only squishy because he was fighting 2 enemy champions. He was fighting a 2v5. He'd have way more armor and MR, and he wouldn't take
That's
any
true.
damage.
Each additional champion will add a little bit more armor and magic resist, but he doesn't have any health to sort of back up those defense stats.
True. ManCloud can try to help with the ulti and shields, but I feel like he's still not going to be tanky enough here, Nikwu. We'll see if he can scale up throughout the game. ManCloud looking for a little play onto Skara. Does not quite land that one. Skara ultis almost knocks him in.
Skara dodges the glitter lances and then lands his own skill shot there, ensuring that ManCloud does not get the better of the trade. And they retain control of the top side. Benny recalling, they might be able to get a lot of damage on that secondary turret.
Oh man, they're going to get damage on the Benny at the very least. Chomp down, Cruiser biting him down to size. That's a kill picked up. 7-0, 20 minutes in. Nikwu on defense, but he's alone.
Yeah. You know, he can defend against minions, but that's about it right now. He has to worry about getting dove as well. I mean, even with ultimates down, this game is looking really bad for XDG. Quite brutal here.
Yeah. So speaking of being brutal, I'm a PewDiePie upgraded to Yomu's Ghostblade. Now, it's an item I'm seeing picked up more and more, actually. It's good on Draven, but it gives him 20% movement speed, 40% attack speed, and 20 flat armor pen.
Yeah, that's the key right there. It increases the flat armor pen, so it goes along with our earlier theory about the early buy. Plus, he doesn't have boots, so he needs some sort of move speed. And even though it will only last a short duration,
4 seconds, which is about how long the ulti lasts.
That's all he needs.
It's enough to. It basically ensures that he can move around very well during the culling.
Well, here it is. XDG making their move. They want to make something
They need
happen.
this. Glitter Lance lands on a PewDiePie and they see him. Now, can they chase down the hook over the wall? Good dodge by PewDiePie. Yomu's not even used. Uses it late. Goes down. Kill picked up. No perfect game. I'm wrong. But Dig gonna push mid.
So he used the Yomus there. It gave him 4 seconds, and he didn't last longer than 4 seconds, so boots wouldn't have made a difference.
No. That was unfortunate.
Correct call. Now he's got boots, though.
All right. Runs a little bit faster. Zerg Greaves there. More attack speed. Dig on the run. Good dodge by Crumbs.
Benny finds 2, though. He might be able to keep them here long enough.
So he gets ulted in by Cruiser. Knocked around as well. The team is still trying to show up. He jumps over the wall, Benny. It's going to be enough for him to get away from this one, but now the chase is still going towards Dignitas. ManCloud, Nikwu, and the rest of the crew are still going. Don't go far.
I think it flashed. Yeah, he jumped out after the burst had already come, though.
Yeah.
Got to pay attention to the cooldowns of the enemies, and if you can reliably know that they don't have more damage coming, then you can stay in there that split second to allow the rest of your team to follow up. But they got 1 pick, and we talked about how much move speed this XDG team have. They were able to pick up PewDiePie, even though he's on Lucian and he's got the ghost.
Yep. So we'll see what these guys do with this one now. PewDiePie getting scarier and scarier. Smithy trying to get towards the static shaves, pretty far away from that one. Just for the guys who don't know the mid Lulus, they max Q then E. So ManCloud right now sitting on rank 1 Whimsy. That's the haste and hex ability. He's got big shields now and pretty good damage output. Scar going to keep the push going forward. Gragas is, by the way, are maxing W, the Drunken Rage.
Yeah.
So
that's
second.
A lot of people favor that one over the Body Slam. Similar damage, but upgrades everything else. You know, I have to keep going back to the Ghost Blade because that's probably the most interesting thing right now.
It's spooky.
If you activate it right before you use your culling, then you'll get a lot more shots out of it. So it's a nice little culling specific boost that he can get right before he uses it.
Did you know? That does not work with sort of the Divine. Just specific. It's a specific special case because it would be too good in that instance.
Because it's 100%.
Yeah, for 3 seconds, it's like, oh, I just want to press this and press R. And it's like, well.
So he could take advantage of the Brutalizer, though. That's a pretty.
Yeah, he uses it with Yomus.
Yeah, that's a nice little boost that he can get. More effective culling is always a great thing to go for. But
culling.
Dignitas already looking at that 10K gold lead here at 23 minutes.
Pretty big.
They pretty much have all the options open to them, and I would like to see them stay focused because, yes, you guys have a commanding lead here, but something they need to work on is ending games. And even in games where you're super far ahead, you need to have the same focus and the same discipline to continually make the best play in each situation.
Yeah.
That way your team won't get lax. Even though this is a game where they have a huge lead, they can still use it for practice.
Absolutely. Think about Coast versus TSM yesterday. Coast was like, yeah, we were winning so hard and we tried so hard not to throw that we started letting him get back into the game.
Exactly.
It was like, hey, we should probably not have done that either. So you gotta take enough risks to keep yourself going forward. ManCloud Looks for the flank onto Cruiser. They're going to spot this one. Slow lands. He does have flash. He can get over the wall if he wants to. He can put down a pillar as well. Just takes the flash. He's safe.
Well, there are other members of XDG like Nick Wu and Smithy that could cut him off, but they're just recalling because Dignitas are pushing right towards the base.
They trade a flash for a secondary turret. Fairly worthwhile. Flash comes back. Turrets do not. Dignitas now look for this bottom lane. They're going to regroup with the team here. They've got 4. Trundle coming across. Barrel comes out. Damage pretty fast onto this turret. Down to half. There's the ulti.
There we go.
Fiber's going to come through. Cyclone's going to come through. Knocks up PewDiePie and stops the Culling. Who's going to take the damage? Cruiser in the front line. Smithy on the back. Jumps in by Crumbs. Will he stay alive, though? Yes, Lulu's going to make that happen. And they find a 1-for-0. They out-tank the lineup. Cruiser has like 12 health and gets out. Same for Nick Wu.
XDG on the rise. They finally get a counterplay, but it's only 1 kill. They can't take any objective because all the lanes are shoved in. It's a huge win for them, though, because any sort of trade where they come out ahead is big at this point.
Well, any game that would have double F tier would consider this an objective. Minions are going down and being picked up by XDG. So as far as that's concerned, there's at least some gold coming through. We'll see the, unfortunately, 0-3-1 Benny finally getting an assist on himself here. And ManCloud has all the kills right now on Lulu of all champions. Not normally the one you'd see getting a killing blow, but a lot of gold going to be funneled on him because of his performance in team fights.
And I like that he's going towards a Lich Bane because buying a Lich Bane is basically an artificial boost to your late game. You're adding another AP scaling onto the champion.
Yep.
So it's a very good buy towards the end game. And Lulu, since he's already trying to use as many auto attacks as possible, he should be accustomed to already weaving those into his spell rotation.
Yeah. Like the base Little Lance cooldown is only 7, so with like decent CDR, you're putting that down to like 5 or so. And the internal like Sheen cooldown triggers, I believe, 2 seconds. It's 2 or 3. So you're getting like a 0.75 AP ratio, which is pretty high for an offensive spell, and you're getting it often. It is a very good sort of general nuke to add there to the kit. He's only the recipe away from getting that item.
Now, looking towards the next step for XDG, since they got the first step of their comeback going here with 1 kill, the next step is trying to retain vision around Baron without dying. They could pick someone off, and Kiwi Kid getting chased.
Gets the stun, gets the flash, does not land his Eclipse shield though, so that time's out. But he gets away, just burning the summoner.
Dig are playing pretty risky here. Everyone's spread out. They haven't grouped up with their giant lead. Everyone is pushing different lanes here.
You know, last game we had was exactly like this, XDG versus Dig. In fact, Scar was even on Gragas. And PewDiePie, I believe, was actually on Lucian as well, where they were like, man, we have a really big lead. Then they stopped finding ways to push XDG in. They're just on different sides now, that's all.
Don't give up hope on XDG yet. They still, ManCloud looking to kill PewDiePie.
Good damage, and the knock is going to stop the culling, but I feel like ManCloud doesn't have the durability to win this fight. Misses the glitter lance, and PewDiePie wins the fight.
You could see his reaction there, too.
Wow, gigantic trade in the mid lane, though. 2 for 2 right there, and the top lane Cruiser solos away the opponent.
So Dig do break into the base because PewDiePie was able to come out on top in that duel, and multiple duels across the other lanes as well, going in Dignitas' favor, even though they dropped 2 members, rewarded with the inhibitor. That's going to be a really big boon for them.
That's going to help a little bit.
It's so much easier ending the game here. Nick Wu, as we said, he doesn't have much health. Scar is able to chunk him down from afar. And man, Crumbs had been chasing just more targets for Scar. Chased over to him from Crumbs there.
Yep, so XDG not in the best spot of this one now. Mid lane turret under fire. Even in a 4 versus 5, actually 3 versus 5 at this point, they still get the inhibitor turret.
Trying to chase him out of the base. Very, very tough for XDG at this point. They might consider a bush gank with 5 people, hoping to catch a stray member of Dignitas and get into position for a Baron Steal, because they absolutely have to have something like that to turn this.
See what they can find. Blue Elixir popped by ManCloud. Same for Skara here. These guys do chug elixirs when they think big fights are coming soon. They're worth roughly, I believe, 4 times their gold in stats. So generally speaking,
because
grab an elixir, because they're timed. Yeah, they're short duration. But if you buy 4 elixirs throughout the game, you basically went equal. If you buy less than that, you're just kind of throwing free stats away.
I pretty much like to always purchase blue elixirs post death cap, because you get even more out of it after that. The extra bonus definitely helping out and makes it feel like extremely cost effective. Plus, you know, getting him to that CDR, is exactly what he wants.
You know, interesting note on Blue Elixir. The last time I saw one that I thought was really interesting, a while back when Dan Din was playing competitively, he would go Blue Elixir on Rammus. over Red Elixir because he said the 10 CDR for more ball curls was worth more than the health on a Red Elixir, and that would be his defensive elixir of choice.
Yeah, it depends on what items you have. Dan
Sure.
definitely has a lot of interesting ideas that he likes to try out way before other people.
Yep.
He's definitely an innovator from North America.
Back when Rally was a spell and it was like significantly overpowered, he would bring Nunu into games, be like, I'll just consume in team fights, and we'll just like win hardcore because you won't have Rally.
He was one of the first to use Nunu in competitive games too.
True.
He's on the receiving end of that.
And Heimerdinger. Old Heimerdinger.
Okay, so the bush gank actually being set up by Dig here. This just seems mean.
Uh-oh.
They're using the vision advantage around Baron.
Ooh, they don't hit much.
They hit the clone.
And a spell
Nick
shield.
Wu. All right, On the Hunt has been popped as well. XDG looking
they're going
to make
mid.
a move here. They've got minion wave at the turret, but they've at such a severe gold disadvantage. This would be an even 5v5 fight. No Sivir ulti available, even though Leona is down. That's a really big cooldown there for
Crumbs
XDG. And
go
the
in.
pillar chase. Nick Wu
Much more. Crumbs
sticking
has the Q
around.
charge. Ulti. Not going to go in. Box comes through. Dig goes around the left-hand side.
More
Ascension
pillars?
used
More
as
pillars?
well.
Nope.
All the engaged tools. Well, more of them getting down. Uh-oh. Thresh, you're on the wrong side of this. You don't even have flash. Zuna
No.
has nowhere to go.
He's getting chased down here.
Great
There it is.
pillar. There's a jump on in. Zuna gonna be going down with this one. Split up from the team. Not
Wow.
the best choice.
Crumbs with the discipline to hold on to his ult that entire time too.
Yeah, why not?
So they still have the Vi ulti for this 5 vs 4 Nexus turret assault.
Oh, the 13,500 gold. It's going to be inhibitor picked up. Crumbs getting the credit for that one. 2, 2, and 6 with a fully offensive build. Lizard Elder Brutalizer Triforce. ManCloud barely lives through that one with a couple hundred HP. But Dig are well in control here.
All right, they want to get the Baron off the map. If they can get Baron off the map, then there's nowhere for XDG to steal it from, and they can't let this one flip around.
Going to be culling used right there. Pretty good damage coming out from PewDiePie. He's actually waiting around in the wings. I think he missed his E over the wall. Pretty sure that's
Vengeance
why he's
for
there.
Dignitas.
All right, they got
They
it.
took him down.
Baron goes down. Dig even farther ahead. 2 of the 3 dragons as well. I guess dragons would count as part of a perfect game, so that was actually broken a while ago. But, oh well, it's worth a thought. XDG now very much on the defensive. Crumb's going to solo away Dragon as well. He does like oh my god, look at the damage he deals. Like, watch the next E.
Well, he's built full damage. This is a Crumbs that got going that well in the early game.
Yeah.
Should not hesitate to build all damage. You know, he's definitely a big fan of that. He also is a huge proponent of full damage on champions like Wukong. So not surprised to see him go with that. He likes the GA, and what was the other item? I think just tabbies and GA, he said, makes anyone a tank. Yeah, exactly. It was like, yeah, anyone could be a tank. All you need is an extra life.
And your opponents have a really like slow game where they don't have many items yet.
He's big on snowballing games.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever Crumbs gets behind in the early game, then they do pretty much the whole team suffers. I don't know about the shot calling from behind. I think that might be one of the things they're working on. As soon as he gets ahead, though, it turns into games like this, though.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive game here from Dignitas.
So Crumbs pushes out the bottom lane here. 60,000 gold even right about now for Dignitas. And they look now for this push.
Lich Bane completed on Lulu.
Yep, that's going to be a whole lot of pain coming through.
Well, a little bit.
Well, more than before. If there's any Liches there, they're going to have a really hard time.
Scar on Gargus, though, is massive.
Yes.
He's got the main 3 items, plus the elixir and blue buff.
Okay, here we go. Inhibitor taking a bunch of damage. No way this gets defended there by XDG. Baron still on for 2 minutes here. Or they can toss now. Will they backdoor top? Will they wait around in the mid lane? See what they move to. Looks like they're going to go for the top lane, actually.
Yeah, they have been playing this game real safe.
Yeah.
You know, taking the Baron, taking every single lane first. So I'm not surprised to see them go for the 3rd inhibitor as well. Once that is down, it's a complete dominant win here. But they are taking a long time because of they jumped out to such an early lead. So.
Well, here we go. Mid lane still. It requires like a team effort by XDG to sweep them away successfully. And now the top lane is under fire. 2 inhibs are dead. It's going to be super minions flooding in 2 every 30 seconds. Top lane, the focus. There's a mini wave here. And about 3 waves left of Baron buff. ManCloud forced to cut away from the culling. PewDiePie not getting a ton out of that one. And now a couple of cash minions to make this turret take some damage.
Cruiser is definitely in a position to tank this turret too. Not only does he have Sunfire, Randu, and Tabby, but he can also steal more armor. So if they need a point man, he's definitely there and up for the task.
And Dignitas are being really gun-shy about this sort of push. They're waiting for someone to pull back and defend the Nexus before they even push here.
The super minions are going to do their work eventually. So they don't have to rush anything. As we said, Dignitas, they're playing this game cautiously. They want to end their losing streak with a big win. And winning this way, winning so convincingly, will do a lot for their confidence moving into the next games.
See if they can keep it going next week here. Looks like the push is going on in Cruiser into the front lines, and here goes Nick Wu. 3-man knock away to the back line, still chasing Cutie by forced to run away, and Benny massive in the front as well. Manklin getting away with low health, but Smith getting jumped on, goes down to a shot from Cutie Pie. 1-0 so far. Nick Wu very low on health, but the fight still continuing. Turret goes down, last inhibitor about to fall. Crumbs pops his GA and
Somebody
doesn't
help
care
him!
too much.
Somebody help him!
Uh-oh, Crumbs, not enough of a tank. It's a 1-for-1 battle, but the base now in shambles. Dignitas 4 versus 4. Trying to push on through.
After all Crumbs did for them early game, they just abandoned him. And they take the inhibitor themselves. All 3 inhibitors down, though. Dignitas still in the base. Well, they can just stay here.
Yeah, Super Minions kind of acting as a 5th member now. Dignitas looking to push in, close out this game. Nick Wu in the front lines, pops a decoy, takes a stun for it. Pillar comes out now, 1 Nexus turret dead. Dignitas now, 15 seconds of 4 versus 4. Other turret's going to be going down right about now. Forced to back up. Benny still holding on to the front lines. Nick Wu looking for his way in as well. No Cyclone, looks for Cutie Pie, doesn't find it. Knock up there from Lulu comes in. Manklin again forced away, and Skara putting the damage across. Zuna in the front lines. Benny forced to run away. The damage is coming through. 1 kill picked up. Now another one almost on the Nick Wu. Kiwi Kid forced away. And these guys are honestly just trading blows back and forth. Still 4 members alive. Manklin looks for a bit, can't quite get Cutie Pie. And XDG hold.
Great hold from XDG. You got to give them credit. They were able to save that Nexus turret with 1 hit left on it.
Yeah. Skara's going to grab blue buff, though. He's like, hey, you can't get your base, we'll get your minions.
Yeah, he returns to the rest of the Rift. I definitely just expect Dignitas to walk back in with a full triple wave of super minions and march on the Nexus.
Yeah. So did you know?
Yeah.
When you kill 1 inhibitor, you get 1 super minion. When you kill 2 inhibitors, you get 2 super minions. And then when you kill 3 inhibitors, you get 6. So you triple the number of minions, super minions, when you kill the last inhibitor.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people, when you get the 3rd inhibitor down, they consider that there's no possibility of coming back. However, we've seen it happen before.
We have.
It's very rare, but it is doable.
We've all been in in one of those games where you're like, man, I can't believe you held that. Like, we had all the inhibitors dead. We had 1 turret. Second, did you know super minions 70% damage and 70 armor MR aura affects fellow super minions?
I did.
Yeah,
they become
so they get scary.
Super minions.
Super duper minions.
There you go. All right, another inhibitor is up. Dignitas looking to increase their building destruction numbers and take down another one.
Building destructions, good score right there. They only got 10 turrets, and Hips don't count in the score, but up there, Nick Wu goes in, finds the ulti, knock up onto Scar. The dive's still coming through. Are they going to find much with this one? Nick Wu very low on health, gets cold. Ooh. That's a 1-for-0 so far. Now the chase in towards the back line of XDG. Benny low on health, picked up their Cutie Pie. Double kill so far. Piercing in, gets Zuna for the triple kill. Going to be another kill on the other side by Scar. This will be the game, 18-5. Into 38 minutes, Dignitas take down XDG.
Looks like business as usual there for Dig.
They were ahead so long.
I mean, yeah, they've kind of gotten accustomed to the fact that they were winning that game. It's not surprising for them. So they're definitely happy about it, and they've definitely been able to break the losing streak. That's huge for the team.
Yeah, finally put themselves back on this one. Started 0-2, then went 6-2, and then added 5 losses on top of that one. New win coming in here. So Dignitas, I guess they got like 5 wins in a row now in front of them. He's got to go in a giant swing again right here. Crowd, of course, cheering for their favorite players. These guys smiles, but that's just, I mean, part of that's just Kiwi Kid. He's always smiling, but that win helped him with that one.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Those two are happy. Cruiser definitely much happier about this game than the last one. He was on the one who got the extra support from his teammates. Crumbs coming in, early gank. Able to get him ahead. And then Skara as well, doing his part, roaming up there, getting him another kill.
Yeah, these guys made the rotations very, very well. 3-0 and 8, by the way, there for Cruiser, so it didn't even drop down on Tronda. It was just that frontline tank the team needed, did it successfully. And every lane, I feel like, had something successful about it. right? If they didn't get any ganks for the team, they held up entirely fine, or they bullied out and got turret pressure. If they did get ganks, they usually capitalized. All of Dignitas, I think, was on point. I think especially it goes to Crumbs. I think he made everything happen for these guys and landed the ganks. And even if the gank didn't work, they could still keep going and just try again the next time.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big game for them. See if they can build any momentum on it. Meanwhile, XDG still have some things to work out. You know, everybody was expecting it to be rocky as soon as they made their roster switches. Not a lot of teams have been able to make successful early, roster changes. As soon as they make them, going to start losing a lot of games. So,
yeah, I've seen a couple guys. Yeah, a few teams we've seen show up do really well, like when Dexter rejoined CLG. Like, they had actually put a bunch of really good performances early on. Bjergsen kind of came out the gates firing.
The Bjergsen one is definitely an exception.
Bjergsen one went pretty well.
As soon as he joined. Yeah, that's definitely a good
Even
one.
Daydreamin's first game, he got a quadra kill at a dragon fight on support Elise. I still remember, like, his opening week. And I was in Germany watching that game. I was like, dang, freaking Daydreamin showed up. But unfortunately, not the case here for Nick Wu. So we want to highlight the individuals who stood out this week. It's time for the OP5. Now, starting out in the top lane, it's going to be Balls from Cloud9. He had a great weekend on Shyvana, going 5-1 and 26, lifting Cloud9 back to their winning ways.
Next, it is Dexter in the jungle, who got the most kills of any jungler with 13 kills in CLG's 2-0 Week 6 performance.
In the mid lane, it's got to be Shifter, who picked Ahri and danced and dodged around TSM. Take down their Nexus. Lichbane Ahri doing good stuff, securing a huge upset.
And as AD carry, it's Cloud9 Sneaky. He played as Caitlyn and Sivir and only died once on his way to a 37 KDA.
Pretty big number, and of course, holy cow! OP support is Afromu, and with Mu in the name, how could you not? Doing a great job keeping double protected, well-fed, and initiating fights. But there's one player who broke away from the herd. Week 6's MVP, Link. It's going to be Link. He said his time on the jungle only helped his game, and it's really starting to show.
Since moving back to the mid lane, they've gone 4-1. He had a huge game on Orianna against Coast, going 3-0-9, and is steadily looking more of a carry for his team.
Yeah, he's playing so phenomenally well on the supportive mid laners, the guys that are supporting there. So let's check out how the teams stack up now after this week. In first place, it is still TSM, 12 wins, 2 losses, only 1 game behind them is Cloud9 in second, and these two teams face off next week.
And then CLG continues to move away from the pack and up the standings. He sits in 3rd place with 8 wins and 6 losses. Then it's Dignitas sitting in 4th place, getting a much-needed win earlier. A couple minutes earlier.
Yeah, a couple minutes ago, they got that win. So once again, it's a 3-way tie for 5th place. Evil Geniuses, Team Coast, and Curse. In last place, it is XDG. You can find the standings and next week's schedule at lolesports.com. There are some good games coming up.
You can also reserve your seat in our studio audience. Just click on the tickets link for all the details of how you can attend one of our game day tapings.
Now, we've got a flash wave, but in return, we'll jump right into the North American Collegiate Championship Finals.
Right, on the line is all of that scholarship money, the International Collegiate Championship. Everybody is going to be wanting that, and they'll also get bragging rights around the campus.
You get to be the best. The action gets underway in just 3.5 minutes, so don't go anywhere. We got more league action.